So the gentleman that we had removed by the police just a few days ago for kicking off in this very office as he didn't want to buy a car and was trying to get his deposit back has now come back and bought the very car he didn't want. Madness. Honestly, this job, absolute madness. This video is sponsored by Vehicle Score. Vehicle Score is a free vehicle checking service which you can visit by going to vehiclescore.co.uk. Simply type in a registration number and you will get a unique score to your vehicle. You can compare your score to the average in Vehicle Score's database. It's full of free useful information such as a mileage tracker history. It gives you a comprehensive breakdown of your MOT history for things like advisories and also wear and tear items. It gives you performance data, an estimated valuation, an estimated lifespan of the vehicle compared to others like it. It's full of free useful information. Also as well, they also have their 2 new features, including the new car insurance tip section to help you save money on your next car insurance quote, and their new AI mechanic, which will help you if you have any issues with a car, trying to diagnose any faults or common issues you might be having with a particular vehicle. But it doesn't end there, because Vehicle Score also offer their paid checks. These checks start from less than a cup of coffee and will check to see things like if your vehicle has ever been involved in an accident, whether it's been written off by an insurance company to a Category N or a Category S. Maybe it's an unrecorded write-off, so it's gone for a salvage auction and you weren't aware of it. It'll also check to see if your vehicle's ever been imported or exported, ever been used as a taxi, has outstanding finance, and all this information is assured with their £10,000 data guarantee. The paid checks are some of the most comprehensive priced out there, and it gets better because you guys get a discount. Simply use the promo code CARUK20 to get 20% off any of those paid checks. But remember guys, the basic service is completely free and it's constantly evolving. So make sure you download the Vehicle Score app, get yourself over to vehiclescore.co.uk and give them a try. Good evening all, welcome back to the channel here at the Car Pitch in Cheshire. So what has been happening over the last week or so? Well, it's been interesting. My week has been really interesting. Over the last 7 days, I have had the Mariva man come back, who was shouting and bawling at me just a week ago, just here, at me, telling me I'm this, that and the other, and blah, 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 and the service is rubbish, and the cars are rubbish, and this, that and the other, and having to get him taken away by the police, come back and buy the car, which he didn't want just a week ago, which was a bit strange. I'll talk about that in a sec. I've also been away on holiday, had a little very mini break with a friend of mine, went away just a few days in Mallorca, watched a bit of football, a few drinks, had a lovely time, although we did discover a dead body, which wasn't on the cards, and did ruin breakfast. However, when I did come back off my holidays, I was really surprised actually with what I come back to, because I usually go away a bit stressed, a bit worried, come back and things haven't been done what I wanted doing. Not this time. Everything that I wanted doing, left with the staff in charge, did a great job. Everything got sorted. Actually did far better than I thought they were going to do. It really surprised me. They pulled the socks up there and got things ready organised for us, ready to go again for the new month of July. Like I said, we've had a good June. Now we're going to hopefully have a good July. That's the plan. And we've got a few cars on sale, which I'm really pleased about. So let's go outside, and they've been selling as well, by the way. We'll go outside in a sec and we'll go have a look around what's been buying and what's been selling. But yeah, the Mariva man, just lastly talk on that. They say he is now done. We've now concluded that deal. He ran back up. He basically didn't apologise, by the way. He basically spoke to my colleague and said he wants the car now. I just kept way out of the conversation and said, fine, you want the car, deal with him. My colleague went to his house, spoke to him, sorted it all out, got the deal done, back on the cards, got it MOT'd, and the man is driven away. I was actually away on that day, picked the car up, so I haven't got any footage, sadly. I can assure you he's the same person. He's driven away, happy as a pig in poop. He's got his Vauxhall Mariva, so there we go. So there we go. I didn't see that coming. Never saw that coming. Just shows you how mad this job is. But anyway, let's go outside. I'll show you what I've been buying, what's been selling, and have a bit of a chat about what's been happening here at the Car Pitch. Right, show you around. We'll start off with sold cars first, because we've sold quite a bit over the last week or so. The team have been doing pretty well. We've got rid of the red Corsa. Remember the red limited edition Corsa? It was plonked over there. That's sold and away. Got rid of the Fiat 500L, that went out yesterday. Did need quite a bit of that. We had to put clutch in that, flywheel, gear linkages. It was a cheap car on paper. In reality, it was still alright in the end, but it did need quite a bit of work in order to get that sorted. He did get a lot of people on that 500L saying, you're going to put a flywheel in it, going to put a flywheel in? Yes, we put a flywheel in it. So anyway, that was done, and also say we put tyres on it as well, a few bits and bobs servicing. It wasn't horrendous, a little bit of paint, and it was all right. It was okay. I mean, it's gone out the door now anyway, so that's good news. Also, obviously, we sold the Mariva. The Mariva went, the car that was, well, the trouble of the last video, as we mentioned before. The gentleman took that away last Saturday, so that's good news. That's gone as well. Also sold the little Chevrolet Aveo. You remember that one, the little black Chevrolet Aveo we bought, little cheapie, 1995. In fact, I've just seen it driving past about half an hour ago. A lady locally bought that, first time driver, absolutely loves the car, so that is now also gone as well. So we've been doing all right on the sold and away cars. Stuff that's actually we've managed to get some deposits on and sold over the last few days. We'll start off with well, Mariva. That's gone. Went out today as well. Black Mariva. Remember that one? The black. This is the old shape Mariva A. We did a video on. Big oil leak. It was a cheap car because it was peeing out oil. 380 quid or 390 quid from Aston Barclay, which we covered in that video. That also sold a few, just before I went away, and went out as well this morning. So that's good news. 1995 got for the car. Lovely thing. Came up really well in the end. We had to put some shockers on it. I'd had to have all brand new brakes on the back, and I mean all brand new brakes, literally new calipers, new discs, new pads, the whole shebang. But other than that, it wasn't so bad. Didn't need any paint, and like I said, didn't give me too much trouble. Come up really nice car, 67 FAW on it. Something you can just buy and use for a good fair few years, use and abuse, and obviously run it to the ground. That's the name of the game. So anyway, that is gone. We also sold, took a deposit, on this, the Peugeot 207. Again, the car featured in a video, little automatic one, say 1.6 petrol. Didn't bet it was a 1.4 probably, but nonetheless, didn't make a difference. We had loads of people on it, loads of people trying to, we had a couple of test drives on it, people going away thinking about it. Some people were a little bit sort of, ooh, 2,995 for a 11 plate 207 auto seemed a little bit dear, and reality does seem a little bit dear from sort of yesteryears. However, in today's day and age, that's about right for one of these. You can't buy autos. I stuck to my guns on it, and we got actually a guy on it who we know who's bought it for a relative, and that's going out on Monday. A little bit of prep needed, some tyres and stuff like that. I had to put some struts and bits and bobs on and drop links, but it wasn't too bad other than that really, and obviously a service. It's been all right, to be fair to us. It's been kind, and it's quite rare I buy any autos, and it's really rare that I buy one from auctions, particularly Aston Barclay, and never get anywhere near him. But on this occasion, I just felt lucky, and we've had a nice little slice out of that as well. And you need to have good money out of autos. You can't be making 400-500 quid as a dealer out of an automatic car. You need to be having a good slunk of cash, because if that goes wrong, you're in trouble, because you can't, we haven't got the ability to fix automatic boxes. We're not trained on them or anything like that, so you have to send them away, or you have to buy a new box, or send them to a specialist, or you're just refunding the car. So you've got a warranty period to remember, you've got to stand by. So like I said, you do need a better margin out of autos, or at least that's the way I've always treated them as well. But on the flip side of that, they're just hard to buy, so you just don't get many of them anymore, because they're just really sought after. Other car we sold as well, we've took a deposit on, is the little Peugeot, another Peugeot 207 diesel. Remember this one? This is the car that we had from the Boomerang i10, or off the Boomerang i10. So this is the second customer who bought it. First customer, just to remind you, bought an i10, had it for about a week or so, couldn't get grips with it because they come out of an automatic car, couldn't get grips with it, brought it back. I offered to resale it for him on sale and return. The second customer, or customer number two, this car, which was theirs, broke down on them. They came and bought the i10. They had it for about 4 or 5 days, and then she basically fell out of love with the car, had a bit of a row with her husband. He came in and sold me back the i10 for pretty much half what he paid for it 4 days earlier. Just bonkers. But in that period between them, this car breaking down and then buying the i10 and picking it up, they actually had this Peugeot repaired. It had an electrical issue, it needed a new BSI board in it, a fuse board, which has been done. The customer paid for that, had it fixed because otherwise it had been scrapped, brought it in. I went for a test drive in it and said, yep, no problem, I'll buy it off him. Now, I gave about £700 or £800 for it from memory, and I say it's not needed too much other than that. It's been well looked after. She actually bought the car from the previous owner of this business some many years ago. So I know the car, we know the car quite well. It's had decent tyres on it. It's like I say, it's had that board done, it's had a little bit of prep done. It's actually a really nice example of a 207 diesel, cheap to run. Guys had it, wants it as a cheap run around. 1995, he's put a deposit on it, and hopefully we can get that out in the next few days. So that's another one chalked up on the board. So we'd say we've sold quite a bit while I've been away. It's been pretty decent, to be fair. We've also sold as well, got a couple of other cars we've sold, what we're missing out on. In the workshop. Let's go have a look in the workshop. It's all locked up in here, so well, you have to bear with me. It's not great stuff lighting here. Need to invest in some more lighting. So in here we've got the little Kia Rio. Remember this? This is by the gate on my last video. The little Kia Rio SR7. Bought this from Aston Barclay. Little 3-door Kia Rio, 1.2 petrol. Not done many miles. Done about 60,000 I think it's done, or just slightly under that. Anyway, we had it on sale. First test drive on it. We had a bit of an issue actually. The lady who took it for a test drive, it was fine for about 5 minutes, and as it got warm it started juddering really bad, the clutch that was. So in the end, so we basically brought it back to the garage, apologised to her. Luckily didn't scupper a sale for us, it could have done. She hadn't actually bought a Ford Focus, which is a bit cheaper, so in the way it worked out quite well for us, but you know, it's not great. So we had to get this in straight away, get it stripped out, get a clutch for it. Nightmare getting a clutch because no one had any stock, but we did manage to find one in the end. Got it in, and it's been fine ever since. Drove it lovely. Like I said, it was original clutch in it, so it was a good call. Put it straight back out on sale, and then a couple of days later a lady came on and bought it, so that's good news. So we've carried on from where we left off with that one in my last video, and got a name down on there. Asking price as well, 4,995. So we've had a, you know, we've had a good margin out of it. But we've had to do quite a bit of work to it, and we've still got a bit more to be doing, some servicing, a little bit of suspension work. But it's pretty much there now, so it's going to go to MOT probably on Monday and get out to the customer probably early part of next week. So that's good news. That is going out as well. Other one as well, Sportage, that is had the gearbox out of it. We suspected we might have a clutch or a gearbox issue. It turns out to be the actual clutch was knackered in it. It actually all fall to pieces. In fact, I can show you here now, actually, here's the remainder of the clutch. So this is what we pulled out of it. And as you can see here, there's a couple of springs missing out of it, which fell out when we took the gearbox out. So that was the problem. Obviously, the clutch plate had completely collapsed on it. That was knackered. But it seems the gearbox is all right, which is good news. However, it did throw up another fault, which is when we took it apart, we've noticed a little bit of dripping of oil coming from the turbocharger. Took a couple of pipes off, and it's starting to leak. The turbo is, so we're going to have to take the turbo off, put a brand new turbo on as well, clean all that out. I mean, at the moment it's not smoking or anything, but it's got a little leak, so it's going to get worse whilst we've got it half stripped out. I mean, we're putting the gearbox back in for now, but we're leaving all the auxiliaries off. It's better off just sort of getting that turbo off while it's in the air, get a new one, and then obviously fit it, and with a bit of peace of mind. They're not that dear to replace. Yes, it's going to dent the budget, probably 250, 300 quid for a Recon turbo, but it gives peace of mind. If it goes down on the customer, we're going to be changing it anyway, so it's just no point messing about. I've also got to do a little bit of brake work on it as well. Got to do the alloys need refurbing. So there's quite a bit to go on this yet, but we'll get there in the end. Can't see underneath. Basically, there's all the backing plates on this wheels come to pieces. So as I say, there's a bit of work in it, but we did get it very cheap. But we knew we were going to be spending a ruck of cash on it. I mean, you're probably going to end up spending at least £1,000 in prep and materials, and then you've got to take into account your labour side of it. However, it will make a good car at the end of it, so we'll see how we get on with that one. Although I've got someone down potentially for this, someone I know quite well, but at the moment I'm just sort of keeping my powder dry because I want to get it up and running. We've got to get that gearbox back together, we've got to get that turbo on and go from there. So I'm not getting ahead of the game on that one, but probably will have that solved very imminently as soon as we can get it fixed. Anyway, back outside, that's the sold stuff done. Let me talk to you about the cars that have been prepped and what we've managed to get on sale and what we've had come in as well, and what's sort of out and about and round at paint, etc., and places like that. We've got actually just had a test drive on that C-Max. We mentioned that before, so we shan't bore you with that one. I think we may have got someone on that potentially. He's coming back tomorrow to have a second test drive on it, but that's looking promising. Little Peugeot 107. It's practically an IGO, same car, C1. Just come in, little 2013 plate on a 62. Only done 55,000 miles, split mint, 5-door model. Lovely, lovely car. I say it's 3495. Free road tax. We sell loads of these, absolutely loads of them. They always sell out really well. And it's 3.5 grand, so it's probably the upper end of the market for these now, but it's because it's got low mileage. It's done 55,000. That's the reason why it's that sort of money. It's done 90,000 miles, it'd be 2,995. So, you know, it's horses for courses, really, isn't it? I've just ordered some new centre caps for it because the little Peugeot lines are getting a little bit faded. But other than that, really, that's it. It's really clean for what it is. You know, it's a nice, clean old car. Love these. We've just bought one of these, well, the IGO version of it, an old one, which we've had lying around at Pre's, the motor auction, for ages. The gate man was asking me to move it because he was about to put a sticker on it, and we've actually just basically turned it into a works car, just a little pool run around car for us, we were smoking around in a Fiesta diesel, which we're going to take off the road and just use the Igo, because we just don't need a little diesel, to be honest. The Fiesta's getting a little bit old and tatty. Anyway, off subject there. This is, like I said, on sale now. We've also got another one of these, a 11 plate one, but it's not a facelift. This is a facelift. They ran these from 2012 to 2014. Previous models ran from pretty much birth of 2005 to 2011. So we've got one of those coming in as well. That's going to be a lot cheaper. That's going to be probably like a £2,700 car. But again, a 107 in black. I think it's 5-door as well. So we've got a couple coming online, which is good, because I always like to have Igo C1s and 107s in the pipeline, because they're just proper easy bread and butter cars. If I could have 20 of them on sale, I would. They are superb sellers. And I always get asked by people, I want to get involved in cars, I want to try my hand at them, buying and selling stuff, what should I go and buy? Go and get something like that. They're really easy to work on, and if you haven't checked out my sort of dealer's guide on these and what you need to look out for, check that out as well in my link description. I'll put it the thumbnail here so you can find it. Did an in-depth video on what you need to do when looking out for these C1s, Igos and 107s. Other things we got prep while I was away, the lads got sorted for me, was the Volvo back from paint, the C30. That had a horrible crease in this door here and went into the quarter. Paintman's been on that, sorted all that out. That's come back from paint, so that's looking well. Had to do some exhaust work on it, had to do some engine mounts on it, so it's pretty much there now to go on sale. Just wants a little bit of detailing, which we're going to carry on with next week, but for now it can go on sale with leather in it, nice thing, done 80 thou, 1.6 petrol. They are basically just Ford Focuses underneath these C30s. There's an R Design model as well, so it's got a decent spec to it. Like I said, just wants a little bit more detailing next week. I'm going to spend a bit of time on that and just sort of brighten it up a little bit and order some little bits of knickknacks for it as well, just to make it a bit smarter inside, some new mats and stuff. Panda, little cheap Panda, and this is a later shape, Mark II. Well, Mark II of the modern generation Panda. The original Panda started out in the 80s. So this is technically a Mark III, is it? Anyway, £28.95. Although I've just noticed that my colleague has put the 8 upside down. Can you see that 8? It's upside down. We're having words about that. This little 1.2 petrol on a 14 plate, it wasn't a dear car to buy. It was quite cheap, to be honest. I've had a little bit of paint done to it on the back because it was well, horrible. It was all going a bit funny here and all rotten and stuff, so I've had all this repainted. It's come up really nice. It's got a few little earmarks here and there in it, but it's not terrible, and it is what it is. If it had been done, you know, 60,000 miles and it was a bit, you know, straight on the bodywork, it'd be nearly a £4,000 car. However, it isn't, so it's priced accordingly at £28.95. It's a modern car for very little money. They're not the best of sellers, these Pandas, and it's probably better if it was in any other colour but white. However, it still offers value for money, and they do go eventually. I've also changed the steering wheel on it, because this one, the original one on it, sorry, was horrendous. It was like a dog had eaten it, had leprosy. It was awful. Anyway, we're nearly finished with this one. We managed to get it on sale for now. I've ordered some new mats for it. They're coming hopefully in the next few days. I've got to sort this out as well. I hate stuff like this. Little bits of trim that have come off, so we'll redo these as well. Little bits like that, but we'll do them anyway. And if someone comes on and is interested in it, obviously we point out those things out. We'll say, look, don't worry, you can go and drive it. You know, you can, but it will be better than this. We're going to do X, we're going to do Y. It's still going through that motion, because unfortunately we just can't get everything in the workshop, and you've got to order parts. You've either just got to queue stuff up, or you've got to get them as best as you can ready and on sale, and you can just try and get things done as you go along, and the stuff actually turns up, because you know what I mean. So we have to order stuff online and stuff like that, and it can take a while to get stuff here. Other things we've progressed on with this week, little Fiat 500. This thing has been an absolute nightmare, and you'll probably say, well, we'll do, Lee, because it's a Fiat and that's what they're like. Look, Fiat 500s are a pain to us. We had some of them are all right, and other ones can bite you. When they bite you, it's usually either the axle's rotten or the gearbox is knackered. This one, actually the engine box in this was all right, but the axle was rotten. We had to replace it. So that's where it started off first off. It was a cheap car actually. I'll just show you underneath. You can see what we've done. So you can see there's got a brand new axle on it, brand new shockers, brand new pipe ends on. We've had all them done, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. We prefer to do the axles on them than piss around with the gearboxes, because they're a nightmare. You've got to take them out, send them away. It's a lot of faffing around. But anyway, we got it done, but then it needed other things. So like the wishbone arms were knackered on the front. We had to buy a set of trims for it. The roof was all funny, so we had to have that redone, because all the top was all funny on it. All this paint was coming off on the trim bits, on the windows and the doors. We had to have all these redone ourselves. It just took up loads of time. Like I said, the arms, wishbone arms, are a nightmare to change on these. And then we did all that, and then we got it all up and running. It's driving lovely. Stuff inside as well. Let me show you this as well we had to do on it. So that's like things. This is how
much things can basically mount up. Steering wheel was like, again, like my Fiat Panda earlier, absolutely horrendous. It was all like falling to pieces, and you touched it, it was horrible. So I had to get a second-hand wheel, and that's the best one I could find because it's dead hard to get them in cream and ivory. Steering gaiter, that was all falling to pieces, had to sort that out. Door handles, they always come off, so I had to get another one of those. Oh, it's just mounted up. And then at the time you've done all that, and then final kick in the old knackers is we get it up and running. It's driving lovely, and you can drive it now. It drives superb. Go out on a test drive, and there's a little squeaking noise, and it's getting a bit louder when it gets warm. I'm thinking, what is that? And it sounded like an auxiliary pulley noise, so we had it back inside, checking it over, and it's not the auxiliary pulley, it's not a tensioner, it's actually the clutch. Very slight thrust bearing noise, and it's getting worse as it gets warm. So it needs a clutch. So now we've got to put a clutch into that deal as well. And as well, forgot it's our paint as well. I had a horrible mark on here, on this wing and into the door. So I had to have all that blended in. So you end up starting off with a car that's like 900 quid on paper when you buy it, and probably owes you best part of £2,000. Well, with the clutch we've got to do, but it'll owe you about £2,000. So it's not great, and you got 850 quid in it. But then you've not made 850 quid because then you've got to pay the VAT man, and you've got to pay him the margin of what you paid for it and what you sell it for. So the time you've done all that and that calculation, which is 16.6% they have off you, it's like, you know, you're on nothing. You're on 500, 600 quid wages. It's rubbish, really, for the amount of work you've had to put into that car. It's just, really, it isn't worth it, because we'd have got 500 quid doing a job for someone, you know, just changing the axle alone. So it's wasn't really worth doing. But it's one of those, you start off thinking it only needs this, and then it turns into one of those, you end up down that road, and before you know it, you've run up a big bill, and you just don't want to cut your losses. We'll still make money out of it, but it's just not really a good use of our time. If we'd known in the first instance what we're going to end up spending on it, we wouldn't have bothered doing it. However, we now have a superb Fiat 500. We're going to have a new clutch in it, new axles in it, driving superb, looking well. So at the end of the day, someone's going to get a decent car, just I'm not going to get a decent profit. Another cheapie we've had on, because we're selling loads of cheap stuff under £2,000 at the moment, although we don't get as much as we probably would like. Little Clio, so we've done 75 this thing. Little 2007 on a 56 Clio. I stand corrected if I am. But I've just ordered a new number plate for it because it's horrible. But other than that, really, it's not too bad. Again, this wants a clutch in it. Everything I buy at the moment wants bloody clutches in. But it was a very, very cheap car, so I'm not complaining. Say it was a little cheapie. We gave about, I think, less than 400 quid. We paid for it, sorry. And like I said, it wants a number plate on it. It wants a new aerial that I've ordered. It wants a little bit of centre console trim inside sorting out. That is it. But it does drive very well. Just the clutch is very high in it. Put it in fifth, drive off, and you can start to feel it. You know, it's wearing out. So at the moment, when you drive it, you can actually physically test drive it. We wanted to, so we have just put a price in it and put a sticker in it saying awaiting prep. We shan't advertise it just yet. We'll just put it up for sale in case there's any interest. If someone came in and said, have you got anything under £2,000, we can at least show them they can go out in it, they can drive it, they can have a feel of it. It does drive very well, and we can say, look, we can have it ready for X day, and we'll put them, this is what we're going to do to it. It's better doing that than parking it up and letting them sitting around, you know, gathering dust and not potentially earning us any money. We can obviously drag it to the front of the queue if we sell it. So that's good, we got that on sale as well. Finally as well, is there anything new? I've just been looking around. Oh, I'll tell you what we have got here. Well, the Mocha, I'll talk about that in a minute actually. I think we may have briefly mentioned that in the past. An iX20. This I bought off a person at the gate. So a private customer who's come in. He's a subscriber to the channel, but it's his parents' car, and they live locally to here. He doesn't live around here, but he came down especially, got the car, brought to me, and obviously I had a drive in it, and we did a deal on it. I've paid a little bit more than probably book for it. I think I gave about 1,700 quid for this car. Book was about 1,500, just slightly under. However, it's been well looked after, and it's had a lot of prep done to it previously. It's like all the tyres are decent, it's had all new brakes on the back, and on occasion sometimes it's just worth spending a little bit more on a car, giving that little bit more to get a deal done, particularly if it's been well prepped. Because what's the point in buying a car that's 300 quid cheaper and you've got to spend 500 quid on? I'd rather spend £200 over book and buy something that's pretty much ready to go on sale. And it pretty much is. It's a bit mileagey. It's done 101,000 miles. It's got 2 owners. It's a 1.4 petrol, but they're more than capable of doing these miles, these Kias and Hyundais. They're really good news. Let's pull that out in a minute. That map someone's left in, but they are really good news. They drive really nice, and they're super reliable cars, practical, and we do sell loads of these. We do quite well with them. So yeah, that's a nice thing. So we'll see how we go with that. I'm hoping that should sell pretty quickly. As I say, we usually have these in for very little time, weeks if at most, really. So there we go on that one. I think that's pretty much it, guys, to be honest. I mean, obviously, what else we've been doing? Fusion. I've had that diagnosed. That's once injectors. All the wiring's fine on it. We bought that for 500 quid. Again, low mileage car. So we're going to have a good play with that this week. Order a brand new set of injectors and just see how we go with that one. So I'll give you an update on that shortly. Little Fiat, yellow Fiat 500. Yes, the old ornament in the corner. Look, I'm going to have to do something with this, people. This is getting on my nerves now. It's a bit of a running joke, but it really is now just getting too much for us. We need to get rid of it. So I'm going to have to do something with it. It's not viable to go back on the road. We've started rifling it for bits over the last sort of 5 or 6 months it's been here. I mean, you look at the state of it. We've been pinching all sorts out of it, motors and bits of trim and all sorts of units off it and stuff like that. We have the lights out of it. It's just knackered, really. The only good bit's the engine, but I can't. In an ideal world, yes, I'd take the engine out and keep it. But in reality, we just haven't got the time. It's just not worth it. So I think it's probably had its day. You know, you've been had all the wiring out the tailgates. This has been changed. This is not the original one. We've changed it over. We've had the switch off because they always go wrong. Yeah, so it's just bag of bones now. Still going to lose money on it. Time I scrapped it, probably was lost 200 or 300 quid on it, even after all the bits we've rifled. There you go. That's the way it is sometimes. Never buy a car on an online auction without seeing it. Anyway, things in the corner. Nothing else here has moved. We have scrapped a few bits off and got rid of some bits and traded some stuff on, but I have kept some items here in the corner. Things like that Focus, which I need to get an engine for. Bad buy, but it's one of those where I'm just going to have to do it, so that's fine. Little KA, 20,000 mile thing. I'm going to pull it out at some point and do that. I will sort that out and make a minter out of that thing. 13 plate Hyundai i10 with a dodgy tyre. That needs an engine. Someone has driven that dry with no water in, which is good of them, but it was very cheap. But the engines are expensive. Engine for that is about 600-700 quid to buy, unfortunately. But the car was only about that anyway. We paid for it, and it has got a bit of history of it and stuff like that. And when it's cleaned up, although it looks a piece of crap at the moment, it will make a car, and you'll easily get like 2,995 for it. So it's not one that will make you a decent bit of chunk of money, and they're not difficult to put an engine in, to be honest with you. They're quite simplistic. Also, as well, just quickly mention this Mocha. We have this from Aston Barclay. I think we mentioned it in my last video. Now, I bought this from, obviously it was at auction. Didn't steal it. Don't think I've bought this cheap. I haven't. I struggled to buy these Mochas. They are really good news, and we've had a lot of interest on this already. Done 85,000. It's a 1.6 petrol. To be honest with you, I'd only buy the 1.6 petrols. They do 1.7 diesels, and they do the 1.4 petrol turbos. I'm not interested in either of those, to be honest with you. I just want the 1.6 petrols. I know where I stand with the 1.6 petrol. It's effectively just a Vauxhall Astra on stilts, so I know what I'm working with, and said they're pretty straightforward to work with. 5-speed manuals. This is a nice one. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still needs a bit of work doing to it. At the moment, it's still awaiting prep, although we have got it in a test drivable state. I've had it cleaned up, I've put some mats in it, I've ordered a brand new wiper motor and arms for it as well, because they're all not working properly, weren't self-cancelling. They've arrived today, so we've got those to do. I've got a little bit of paint I need to do on it as well, around the tailgate handle, which I will have done, but at the moment it was either a case of you either park it up and wait for basically this bit of paint to be done and not have it on sale, or you put it up on sale but wait and prep signing it, and try and get some interest. End of the day, someone comes on, we can just say, look, this is what's been done. Like I said before, we'll get that done for you. Give us a week, we'll turn it around, we'll get it right for you. That's what we've got to do at the moment. Otherwise, we just won't have any stock on sale, because we just can't. There's only so many of us are here, and we can only get so much done. But like I said, it's the first mock we've had on the pitch, and we've had a bit of interest already. So hopefully, when I advertise that properly in the next few days, we should start getting some proper inquiries on it, and we can get a name down on it and sold soon. Because things like this and that Sportage, this is the sort of stuff at the moment that's really popular. Qashqais as well, although saying that, my maroon one is not selling, but generally they do sell well. That's what people want. Small cars and these medium-sized SUVs are gold, particularly under that £5 sort of category, and ideally petrols, because diesels are just falling out of favour really. I'm not saying I won't stock diesels, of course I will, but they're not really my priority over a petrol. I'd rather have a 1.6 petrol mocker than a, you know, a 1.7 diesel one. In the same way, I'd rather have a 1.6 petrol cash guy than a 1.5 diesel cash guy. That's just my preference. Anyway, there we go. I mean, I've got other cars as well that aren't here at the moment. Half of them I can't remember half the time. I'm thinking of cars that I can't remember. See this cash guy here? This has been at my mechanic's house for about a year. And I'm looking through the other day thinking, where did that car come from? And for the life of me, I can't think where I bought it from. Didn't buy it from auction. Can't find any receipts for it. I don't know where the hell it turned up from. I knew he owned it, and we had to get it picked up. But yeah, I've got that many cars around, it's getting a bit silly now. So I had to get a bit of a cull on the other week and get rid of some of them. We've made a bit of space, but we obviously have got other stuff off site. I mean, I think off the top of my head, I've got a paint, I've got a Clio there, I've got a couple of other Peugeots there, I've got Corsas there, all sorts I need to get back from there and obviously get here on site and get up on sale. That is the plan. Also, bits of the auction I need to pick up as well. We're going to have to go and see the gate man next week because he's been very cross lately. He's made me pick up me little Igo, which I mentioned earlier, my little new works whip we're driving around in. And he's also moaning now about the Jaguar, and rumour has it he's put a sticker on it. So we need to get that XF picked up, which in fairness we will need to do and do a video on. Not going to retail it, but we will do a video on them because I've worked on a few and they are very interesting vehicles, and I'll document it, what we buy it for and hopefully what we sell it for, be something interesting. So I said lots to film. Back at the auctions as well. I'm going to be going to the auctions next week and buying hopefully some vehicles. I'm going to be going probably to G3, although we may nip into Aston Barclay as well, who knows. So we'll see how we get on. It's great to be back at work, and it's also great to be filming again and doing these videos for you guys. So I'd like to thank you all for watching this one. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let me hear your thoughts and comments about anything mentioned in today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one.